Hey Jamie, how are you?
Hey, I'm all good, thank you, John. How are you doing?
I'm very well. Were you like me watching Man City against Brighton last night, thinking this could be a banana skin? You never know. The longer it stays 0-0, the better. I think it got to about 14 minutes, and after half an hour, I went to the supermarket, and then yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was. I was sort of holding out a little bit of hope that Brighton could get something.
Are
But
you
but yeah,
are you now looking at their remaining games, going, might be Spurs? You need to do you a favor.
I think I think it might be Spurs or Fulham away. Maybe could be a bit of a banana skin, but I think it's looking like Spurs. Yeah, and it's I guess some similarities with what the final day of like 98, 99, maybe when we were relying on Spurs to beat you guys.
United at home at Spurs. Yeah, you played Villa. Funny enough, you didn't get the job done against. It didn't really matter in the end because United just had to win. But they took the
Yeah,
lead. A bizarre goal. I remember Les Ferdinand and Schmeichel
yeah,
struggling and landing up inside the net. But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, could be in that scenario. I mean, the other thing is, and possibly equally, if not even more important, is you've got to win all your games, including a trip to Old Trafford.
Oh yeah, we've got that coming up. It's true. We've got Spurs on Sunday as well.
Oh, Spurs
Um,
Sunday. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess you'd think Spurs away would probably be harder for us than it would be for City, but then again, City have not actually won at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in the league ever.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, normally a bit of a banana, a bit of a bogey team, a bit of a bogey ground for them, but they just looked so imperious last night, didn't they?
Yeah,
And
they did.
they haven't lost since December, I don't think. Or it
Oh,
might just be
wow,
the
is
end
it
of the
that
year.
long?
Yeah,
Right,
it's a
I'm
long
gonna try
time.
and find out which court, Davidovich Fokina is playing on, so I can, at least tune in for that one. I know that at least the last time I checked, you had your screen to Sabalenka Linette. So they're on Arantxa
Yes.
Sanchez. Okay, so I'm gonna find Arantxa Sanchez right now, at least on my there we go, got it. Yeah. My stream will be light years behind yours, but given that if you're on one match and I'm on the other, that might help at least me in terms of remaining focused. Any thoughts on tennis in general, but also this particular tournament, in what we've seen over the last few days? Everybody
Yeah, I
can't
guess.
dominating a lot of headlines in the UK.
Yeah, yeah, that was a surprisingly disappointing defeat, wasn't it? After a good couple of weeks on the clay, she's got taken quite a lot of criticism actually. Yeah, it was good to see. Good to see Rafa. It was funny seeing Rafa playing against a 16-year-old yesterday, wasn't it?
I
He just
know.
looked so young. Darwin Blanche. I think he was born in 2007, right? So the year when Rafa already had two or three French Opens in his pocket. Um,
Yeah, it
so
wasn't
yeah,
quite.
so I'm
I was
looking forward
wondering if it
to.
was going to quite be the year that he'd obviously got over the line at Wimbledon, but at least he'd been in a couple of Wimbledon finals by then.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, um, but yeah, I guess that was a kind first round draw, wasn't it? But he's got a tricky one against.
Yeah, you could say that. Slight understatement, but yeah, in a way though, Raf would probably like a bit more of a Caboli first round, like he had in Barcelona. So at least it's a test of sorts because he's going to have a litmus test, certainly by his standards right now, against Di Minor again in the next round.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of it's been a bit of a tricky kind of situation for him, hasn't it? He hasn't really had anybody. It's kind of as you say, he's had two really um presentable first rounds, I guess, and then his match after that been Dimonor twice, which is not ideal when you're struggling a bit physically, right?
Definitely,
What are
yeah.
you eating, Joe? Is that strawberries?
Yep, strawberries.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nice.
I was munching on
Any,
some grapes, which is a bit easier to do during a live stream. You sort of just occasionally pick one up, and they're sort of very manageable. Strawberries a little bit trickier, especially as I haven't cut off the end, so I'm having to do it with my teeth.
oh no, uh, bad preparation. Should have cut the ends off just before.
Yeah, I know, but bad preparation, Jamie.
Yeah, yeah. Sabalenka's looking strong here. She's up 5-3. Although Magdalene did have a break point. in the Sabalenka's last service game.
Okay. Yeah, I do anticipate a fairly comfortable win for Arena. I think there's a significant gap between these two players. I also think
Yeah.
the conditions in Madrid suit Arena pretty well, albeit that her form post-Australia hasn't been great. Linette hasn't been pulling up any trees recently either until she got to the final in Rouen last week, albeit she lost to Sloane Stephens. Sloane Stephens, by the way, marching on through in Madrid, and she'll play Maria Sakkari in arguably the popcorn match on the women's side, at least for the third round. Davidovich Fokina has had 2 break points here on Shang. Shang, of course, was involved in one of the epic matches of the year the other night against Mutet. Unfortunately, I fell asleep and missed out on that one. But I woke up the next morning and everyone was sort of frothing at the mouth over that particular encounter that I think was 11-9 in the third set tiebreak. But anyway, yes.
That's
so regarding
unlike you. Sorry, I was just going to say that's unlike you to fall asleep during a tennis match.
Indeed, I do have a bit of a reputation, but that's more when I'm actually in the stadium. Normally, I manage to stay awake, even if it's 3 o'clock in the morning and it's watching the Aussie or the US Open in particular. But yes, in the stadium, I have a reputation for doing that, as Jamie and I very well know. In fact, Jamie and I go back on this one quite a few years. Davidovich Fokina has got the break after Shang goes long. Linette is obviously serving to stay in it. Poor old Jimenez Kazin-Seva. This could just add fire to this wild card debate, although at least she has won a match. But there's a lot of debate going on regarding, for example, the opponent of Rafa's yesterday, 1,000 or so in the world. The 16-year-old really was like a rabbit in the headlights. If Kazin-Seva doesn't manage to win a game against Paolini, and we also have had situations such as Roberto Bautista Agut, a home guy, but basically he's not signed up to the agency, the media agency that own the tournament. And so the agency basically just say, we're having IMG. They just say, we're having our players that are signed up to us, as a media organization. Almost like a PR agency, basically. They are looking after these players. I know Holger Rune is a member of their stable, but of course he doesn't need a wild card. But players such as Fonseca and Jimenez Kazin-Seva, and in particular Darwin Blanche, do need that wild card, if you like. Although I've heard a debate which says actually the better thing to do would be to give him a sort of free entry into the qualifiers, because he would probably learn a lot more than he would, 1 hour and 1 minute, I think it was, on the court with Rafa yesterday.
Bautista Agut was quite had some interesting comments as well, didn't he, on this?
Yeah,
yesterday
he did. Yeah,
and I guess I know she would have. Yeah, what was that, sorry?
He's annoyed. He was annoyed.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess she would have earned one and deserved one from and you can see why she got one. But I guess Emma Raducanu also got given a wild card, right, and was beaten quite easy. But I guess that's a different situation because she.
It is different. I just think that this. Listen, wild cards are grossly unfair anyway, and I've heard Gil Gross's argument for that, and therefore, but his argument is that ends the debate. That basically they're just unfair. I would say that actually I think there's levels of unfairness, if you like. And, let's just say someone like Rafa Nadal or Roger Federer ever needed a wild card. Of course, Roger Federer's career's at an end, but you know what I mean. If any of these guys or any Grand Slam winner needed a wild card, particularly, let's say Andy Murray needed one to play at an event in the UK in particular, but arguably anywhere on tour, that is a different level to giving Darwin Blanche, ranked 1,068 or whatever he is, at 16, a wild card. If Darwin Blanche does some things in tennis over the next couple of years or over the next 15 years, and at some point 15 years later, for whatever reason, injuries in particular meant, he needed a World Cup, sure, fine. You're going to bring in the crowds, great. Darwin Blanche is not going to bring in the crowds. Yesterday's match was a full house, right? It wasn't because of Darwin Blanche.
No, I think we can safely say that. It does seem like there has to be kind of, I guess, just maybe a bit more of a transparent kind of process, maybe with the wild cards, or a bit more of a criteria potentially, right? As opposed
exactly, a criteria.
Yeah. As opposed to it sort of just being okay. Well, they've got, we'll give this person a wild card because because we like them or because, as you say, there's some third party interest.
Well, it's the
Um,
third
um,
party interest here, which
yeah, yeah,
makes
yeah,
us
yeah,
deeply uncomfortable. How's Sabalenka getting on, by the way?
yeah. She's serving, so she's 15-30 down, so
Ooh.
serving for it at 5-4. And Linette's actually, so she held the last service game to love, and she's up 15-30 here, so she's showing a little bit of promise here. Sabalenka looking a little bit tight.
Talking of wild cards and seeing who's on the opposite side of the net and thinking they might not be, worthy of their position. When you and I had that match in the queue at Wimbledon the other year, I was like, what's this guy doing here? Really, I'm not sure if this Jamie Dupont, the wild card given to him, is really worthy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's what there was a few whispers of that in the crowd, but I think that was soon silenced once they once they saw us on the court.
They saw my
um,
movement against yours. Yeah. Did you see
uh,
any of Stuttgart last week or any of the stuff? Because I was lucky enough to have a press pass there last
yeah,
week.
yeah. I only, to be honest, I only really saw I covered the Raducanu Swiatek match for you guys last week.
Of
So
course,
I
yeah,
saw
yeah, yeah.
I saw a bit of that. Yeah, that was a good one. But yeah, just time can be a bit difficult these days, so I didn't get to see much of it. But how was your experience there, John? It seemed like you had a lot of fun, and you took the nice photo on the court as well, which was a
Yeah,
really
right.
nice.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I did. Yeah, I got the court photo at the end. I
Yeah,
unsolicited.
yeah,
I just walked on the court and just did it. Basically, I think it was after the
nice.
doubles final when no one was looking. Um,
Set point
but
Sabalenka, by the way.
oh, really? Set point Sabalenka. Okay.
Set point, yeah. Missed the first serve. Shall I just talk this through this point?
Yes, please.
Um, so yeah, second serve to come from Saba.
Just gonna get some water. I'll be back.
Okay, second serve to Linette's backhand. Linette hits it quite deep. Baseline exchange at the moment. Sabalenka goes big with the forehand, and she gets a lucky net cord, and she takes the first set with a huge break of fortune there. But 6-4 Sabalenka. Um, and just seen on the Bet365 live betting odds, she's just gone from 12-1 on to 20-1 on to win this match now, Sabalenka.
I think 12-1 on, by the way, to start the match is a bit unfair on Linette. I mean, I do expect Sabalenka to win, but if you said to me before, I'd be looking at 80-20, whereas I think those odds will be more like 94-6 or something.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think it wasn't. I don't think she was 12-1 on at the start. I think she was 12-1 on just before winning that point. It's like a
Gotcha.
live
Yeah, now that makes
sort of
sense
system.
then. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, seven for the set and set point. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
Sabalenka gets over the line on the first set, 15-30. She was down there, so that is something. And Shang has broken back against Davidovich Fokina, but Davidovich Fokina now has love 30 on the Shang serve. So a couple of breaks of serve already in this match, and we're threatening a third.
So,
Yeah,
so
Stuttgart. Yeah, a
was
lot of fun.
fun. Yeah, looked
Sorry, go
fun.
on.
No, it looked fun, and it was yeah, a few good storylines. I guess you saw Emma's run, Swiatek's unbeaten run come to an end there as well.
Yeah, those are the storylines in terms of on the court, but there was a couple of storylines off the court. One was that it was kind of the beginning of this Emma tired narrative because she was saying it in at least one of her press conferences afterwards, and it was like, okay. I mean, yeah, maybe she had a few epic matches in Paris and then, or in France, sorry, in Billie Jean King Cup, and then yeah, but it sort of seemed to be a bit of a stretch when she repeated that in Madrid, bearing in mind that I think all of her matches in Stuttgart were in straight sets. There was like a 5 or 6 day gap between her end of her Stuttgart. And we're also not talking about transatlantic flights here. We're just going from France to Germany to Spain. So that's kind of probably been the biggest sort of narrative, if you like, and curiosity regarding Anna and her early loss here. But the other thing was there was a few other narratives emerging from press conferences in particular. One was Marta Kostyuk after losing the final, and she had some very impressive wins on the way there, and the tournament in Stuttgart was stacked, where basically it was just top 10 player after top 10 player after top 10 player. And then she's like, yeah, getting to the final here is really tough because of opponents. Of course, you can be lucky in a Grand Slam, because I think someone was like, well, it might even have been me, I'm not sure, about getting over the line at a, or repeating these kind of performances at a Grand Slam. And she's like, well, it's completely different, because at a Grand Slam, you can do like what Shang did in Australia and not play a top 50 player and you're in the final. And that comment in particular certainly raised a few eyebrows and a bit more on social media. And that, why bring Wen? I kind of get it. She doesn't have to do that. She probably doesn't need to name Wen. She can just say, look, at a Grand Slam, you can get a bit lucky with a draw. Whereas here in Stuttgart, there is no luck with the draw, because whoever you play is going to be a top 20 player probably, or at least a top 30 player, and more likely top 10 as you progress. Whereas in a Grand Slam, you can get away with it a bit if you like. A lot of people talk about Rafa in 2017. I think he won the US Open, and he had Kevin Anderson in the final, and a few others as well. And people have mentioned some of Novak's runs as well.
Yeah, some of Novak's runs at Wimbledon in particular. I think he also played Kevin Anderson in, not to shame Kevin Anderson, but
true. But he played Rafa in the semi, didn't he, that year?
Okay, yeah. That's true. But I mean, even Emma Raducanu. I mean, I'm not sure if she played anybody in the top. Certainly didn't play anybody in the top 10, did she? Maybe not in the top.
No, exactly. Because I think she's still
year.
yet to beat a top 10 player. I think
she's still yet to beat a top 10 player. Yeah.
Probably that went under my radar a little bit, because I was just so busy fixated with the fact that she was a qualifier and the fact that she was winning all her matches in straight sets. And and it was Leylah Fernandez that was cleaning up on the other. Leylah Fernandez was doing all the dirty work, having to beat the top 10 players, and doing so in 3 sets, and Grand Slam champions such as Naomi Osaka. While on the other side of the draw, Raducanu was just sort of serenely progressing in straight sets, left, right, and centre.
Yeah. Mind you, she did beat. Just trying to think who she beat. She beat Sakkari, didn't she? I think in the semi-finals.
She beat Bencic as well on routes. 2 players that would have been close to the top 10, if not exactly at that point.
Yeah, that's true. As Linette gets the first game of this set. By the way, looking at those scores there, it's kind of. I know she did win a title, I think, didn't she? Maybe a few weeks ago, or maybe she got to the final. But it sort of crept up that Paolini seeded 12 here. That she's really.
No, she won a 1,000 in Dubai in February. That's where she shot up. But of course, really, her turning point in her career was her first appearance on Talking Tennis last year.
Exactly. Yeah. Where was that appearance? Because she was in Birmingham, but I don't think I spoke to her in Birmingham.
No, in Monastir. I spoke to. I actually met her in Monastir in the hotel lobby at 4 a.m. on the Monday, because both of us were basically departing super early. And
okay, you weren't both coming back from a night out.
No, we weren't both coming back from a night out. No, but it was a kind of an awkward one, because I'd seen her in a few press conferences. And it was like, listen, I knew exactly who she was. Of course I did. But I'm pretty sure she sort of recognized me from being around, because she's like, oh, all right, or something like that. Anyway, she got in her taxi and went on her merry way to her next tournament, I believe. So that was our first sort of encounter, and a few press conferences there. Then I did a 1-to-1 with her in Billie Jean King Cup in Seville, where she helped Italy get to the final. They lost that final in the end to a Leylah Fernandez-inspired Canada. And during that interview, I remember the Italian press officer was like 2 minutes, and I think it went to like a 3rd minute, and he was sort of tapping at his watch. Anyway, fortunately, we didn't have such pressure in Stuttgart last week, where we had a nice little chat as well, as you can see from some of our previous videos. So yeah, she's probably playing the best tennis of her career, and that's why she's seeded 12 here. And I'm going to say that she's ranked about 13 in the world. I'm just wondering who's absent from that top echelons of women's tennis. But yeah, she's doing really well. She's just sometimes a little bit underpowered is the wrong word, but a big server, and you're a bit worried for. And she played Rybakina, and she was just constantly fighting. She's 5'4", 1.63 for those that prefer the metric system. So she is, lacking in height, but she's certainly not lacking in heart.
Absolutely, yeah. No, she I don't think she went very far in Birmingham last year. I think she lost quite early, sort of first or second round when I was
Yeah,
there.
well, that was
But
before she sort of finally broke through with coming on Talking Tennis, of course.
so she's officially kind of friend of the show status, would you say, John, at this stage?
Oh, she's beyond friend of the show. I don't know what the next level is. She's like best friend of the show. So, yeah, very much so now. I said to her, I said, well, this is the third time we've come across each other now, Jasmine. And as soon as I said it, I was like, she probably doesn't know that. She may recognize me, but she doesn't. She might not even know the name of the channel. And then, of course, at the end of it, I said, friend of the show, and I got her to say it. Coerced her into it.
Very nice, very nice.
There she's
Oh,
pointing
there.
out.
Yeah.
We're looking at a few images on the laptop. I think we're talking about Chastea there. I think I've said, "Oh, this is a picture of you winning the title," and she's like, "No, this is the quarterfinal." I was like, "Oh, okay, wrong picture."
Ah, nice. Okay, you're holding that famous tennis ball still as well. I think, aren't you, from your match
Yeah, exactly.
with
Yeah,
David?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, oh, so
So,
yeah, we got
Linette winning the first game, but Sabalenka serving, right?
Sabalenka serving, but she's just double faulted actually. It's her fifth double fault today, and we're at deuce on Sabalenka. So a little bit of pressure here. And to be honest, the last few games, even the end of that first set, Linette is kind of making Sabalenka work quite hard. Of course, Sabalenka, as you say, not been in the best form since the Australian Open. I mean,
No, she
I
lost to
guess we kind of
Davidovich in her first match back. I think it was in Dubai in that 1,000 I was talking to you about. Early
yeah,
departures as well in Miami and Indian Wells. Not,
and
I think she won a
yeah,
couple of matches
yeah,
maybe in
and
Indian Wells before going out. I think she beat Paula Badosa in Miami before exiting at the next round. Stuttgart as well. I think she had one
yeah,
win,
yeah.
one loss there. So yeah,
So yeah,
for
yeah, yeah. And I think
world
it's
number
obviously
two.
we
Her number 2 ranking is
yeah.
at stake as well. I think Coco Gauff could overtake her
Oh,
at this
okay,
tournament
okay.
because Sabalenka
And I guess
won the
we
title last year.
right, right, okay. I think the only person that she's actually beaten since of course, I guess we've potentially got to caveat her results maybe at the moment, potentially of what she might be going through, kind of on a sort of emotional level, maybe. I mean, I think
Sure.
since that death of her ex-partner, I think she's only beaten Paolo Badosa so far. Actually, is the only player
Okay.
that she's beaten.
Yeah.
Um,
This is her third sort of
yeah, yeah,
tournament, I believe, since then. You just had Miami where she got that win. I thought I
yeah,
thought she's beaten, yeah, because she's beaten her twice.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
she beat
She's
her
bit,
as well. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was a
yeah,
pretty epic
yeah,
match.
yeah.
We're still on serve here with Shang and Davidovich Fokina. They exchanged breaks at the beginning of the match. As I see Shang put a forehand into the net. So it's
Mm.
love 15, Shang 3-4 on the
Where's
Arantxa
Davidovich
Sanchez
ranked at the
scenario.
moment, John? Sorry.
Sorry, say again.
Sorry, what's Davidovich's ranking at the moment?
I'm going to go to
I'll
Captain
put you on the
Google
spot.
and have a quick look. I would say he's on the cusp of sort of. It looks like he's not seeded here, so probably outside the
Mm.
top 32, but
Four
he's sort of there or
40 odd maybe.
thereabouts. Say again.
Okay, no. I said about 40 maybe, but maybe a bit
Yeah,
higher.
that would make sense, but maybe even slightly higher. Let's have a look. Oh, it says he's ranked 28, so maybe he is seeded here. I just don't see. Normally, when you're watching the player, you see a seeding point. Let me have a quick look. So he's 28. He must
Okay.
be seeded, therefore, and I'm going to tell you exactly what his seed is here. 27. Yeah, so one absentee from that 28
Okay.
players.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
seeded 27, and so Shang is another wild card, albeit probably a little bit more worthy of the wild card
yeah.
status.
Yeah, yeah. Good win
Daniel
against
Altmaier.
Mute.
Yeah, right. Daniel Altmaier winning the first set comfortably over Arta Feast. That may surprise some.
Surprising scoreline, I think.
Yeah, right.
Linette looking in control as well in her next service game.
Okay, but that's still on serve, right?
They're still on serve. Yeah, yeah, yeah. How are you feeling your last? Sorry to go back to football, but how were you feeling last week? Were you able to watch the FA Cup semi-final? By the way, Stuttgart.
Bits of it. I was glued to it from the end of extra time. Sorry, the end of normal time until the end of the match because there was a sports bar like a 2-minute walk away from the Stuttgart arena. But with the final overlapping, I wasn't able to be as attentive as I would have liked, put it that way. But the final was a pretty quick affair, 6-2, 6-2 for Rebecca. So, yeah, well, weird is uncomfortable. You know, I think I've never not celebrated a penalty shootout win. Even the Charity Shield, I think we won at least one penalty shootout, maybe two actually on a shootout. I remember winning, I think we beat Arsenal once in a penalty shootout, but certainly remember beating Chelsea in a penalty shootout and being very pleased about that. But this was a weird, empty feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was kind of, I guess, even United's players, right? They kind of, as you say, they weren't really celebrating.
I think Anthony was, but the rest,
yeah,
maybe Højlund who scored the penalty, but yeah, the rest were a little bit underwhelmed. Hey, look, have you seen this?
Very cool, very cool. Yeah. I like it.
Another step up.
There's a lot of nice innovations with this. I like the I'm liking the sort of Gillette sort of Soccer Saturday feel and the kind of multi-screen watch-alongs and stuff like that.
Trying to do that, yeah. We do that from time to time. I think that I actually think the product and what we're doing with those is really good. And I'm enjoying it. And I'm enjoying it with sort of 4 different people talking about 4 different matches at the same time. And I want people to interrupt and say, hang on a second, there's a break of serve here over on court number 7. And I think it went really well a couple of days ago when we did that. The numbers though don't reflect it in a way. A lot of people, I think, who are just Googling their favorite player or you're looking for their favorite player, and therefore when you sort of, if you have the choice of if Sabalenka is your favorite player, if you have the choice of honing in on her match or coming to a variety of things, then you're more likely to hone in on her match. But yeah, no, it went very well a couple of days ago, and we're very close to 8,000 subscribers now. So for those of you just tuning in, do please hit that subscribe button as we at least focus on a couple of matches in particular. Shang did hold serve despite losing the first point on 7 that previous game. So it's 15 all now with Davidovich Fokina serving 20-2 local time. So I guess it's 20-1 where you are, Jamie. Am I right with that? 20-1.
It's 20-1. Yeah.
Do you see how I did the maths there? Pretty well in mine as well.
quick maths.
Yeah.
Just and the typical kind of British. We're having a typical British spring, I would say. It's just been very, very cold.
Very cold, yeah. Germany too. We often have very similar weather, to be honest with you, this time of year. Or, yeah, similar weather throughout. I mean, it's just in terms of a plane away, it's only like an hour and a half. Yeah, very chilly. I mean, I'm wrapping up super cold, but also looking at Madrid as well. I mean, that was baking hot this time last year. I remember I was there and it was super hot. Davidovich Fokina has 2 game points for 5-4, but yeah, but that chilly as well. They're wrapping up. So
yeah. But by the way, it's Sabalenka's at love 30 here.
Okay.
Has Linette made that? She has. Amazing cross court return winner from Linette. So she's got 3 break points.
Okay.
Yeah, really good start to this second set actually, and it's really interesting on Bet365 just kind of seeing the odds really change really quickly because Linette's gone from about 10-1 to win this match down to 3-1, which
that seems quite short. But so what's Sabalenka? So she went from 1-12 as she was trying to serve it out to 1-20. Is she now like 1-10?
She's 2-7.
2-7.
2-7 as Linette breaks.
Anticipating the break at love 40.
Yeah, she's got the break to love, Linette.
Oh, she's got the break. Is that what? And is it 2-7 now, or is it coming even further?
It hasn't changed as yet. It's still 2-7.
Oh, okay, no, well, that's probably them basically assuming that she breaks then.
Yeah, at love 40, I guess. Yeah. By the way, of course, this was an Australian Open semi-final last year.
Yeah, I remember. I think Sabalenka got it done pretty comfortably. Or certainly it was straight sets. I think the first set may have been a bit ropey, or one of the 2 sets, but and at that point, I remember that the narrative with Sabalenka was she had a semi-final problem because I think she'd been in, I don't know, 5, 6, or 7 Grand Slam semi-finals and lost them all.
Yeah.
But to me, that she was coming up against mega opponents often in those semi-finals, and I think a lot of them were pretty tight. I remember one at Wimbledon being super close a few years back. But then since then, some people still go on about it, but I think she's won like 3 out of 4 since then, or 2 out of 3 since then. So
Yeah.
to me, it's like saying you've got a Grand Slam final problem, but once you've won one, you almost put it to bed. If you win one, let's say you lose your first 4, but then you win one, you need to lose the next 10 before that narrative can return.
Yeah, true. Although I do think that she probably needed to play an opponent like Linette, maybe, right, in a semi-final, just to
Exactly,
kind of
that
help
helped.
her kind of
That
get
helped.
over
But
that.
then that's the point. If you're not winning against Linette, then you really can pick up that narrative, if you like. But she won that,
Yeah.
and then also she won the final as well. So that's also sort of, give me a semi-final problem, but I win a couple of Grand Slams. I'm fine with that. She's won 2 now, and I think she's maybe lost 6 or 7. So whatever that is. But if you're also winning the 2 finals, having won those 2 semi-finals, what the hell,
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Jake, as well, by the way, nice to see you. Yeah, and of course that final then, the Sabalenka Rybakina, but one of the
Oh, epic.
best women's matches played or certainly one of the most memorable, right, for a good few years. But I
I
think we
agree.
spoke about this last time. Breakpoint sort of did its best to kind of try to like dilute the quality of that, and sort of it didn't illustrate how good a match it was. It just sort of showed double faults and unforced errors and that sort of thing.
I mean, Breakpoint managed to dilute tennis all round. I see an
Yeah.
IMG, a guy actually in Shang's box. It's really, really trolling the criticizers and the heat that the IMG have been getting, because he's there in the box for Shang with a big IMG hat. So no shame there. At least I will say there was Shang. I mean, he's obviously shown that he's worthy of his place, but not everyone of the IMG stable has done themselves justice, let's say, or their brand. Shang, though, 40-15, so it was 40 love, but a really good backhand return there from Davidovich Fokina, making it 40-15. Sabalenka, sorry, Linette serving at 3-1. What's the score?
She is 40-30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, if she consolidates, then those odds will narrow further.
Yeah, absolutely. See what happens here. Yeah, quite a big point, I guess, for Linette. Backhand to backhand here. Sabalenka goes wide. Unforced error, so it's 4-1. 4-1 to Magdalene.
Shang went big on the forehand there, but didn't put it away. Went wide, so it's 40-30. Just a quick reminder, Mira Andreeva won earlier on today in 3 sets over Linda Noskova, so that's another feather in the Russians' cap. She was actually down a set and a break as well, so an epic comeback in which turned really in a period when she was down a set and 1 love, but with the break, as I said, she won the next 5 games, and that basically transformed the match, and it helped her win that second set. And with that momentum, she carried on into the third, and she never ceded that advantage. Really, she would go up a break in the third, and then she would lose it, but she would always be like the front runner, if you like, in that third set, and she ended up winning it, I think, 6-3 with a double break actually at the end. So Andreeva is through. Noskova was having a few movement problems. I think it was typified on match point, where you sort of see Noskova maybe think about sticking a racket on something, but that would have meant having to stretch every sinew she had available. And I think she had 1 or 2 little hip issues in the third set. So Shang has held for 5 all, so this could not be tighter. Linette really seizing an advantage in that second set over Sabalenka. And we can see that Kalinina, Dolhaider are on serve, whilst Kruger took the first set over Alexandrova. So there could be a surprise on the score, on the thing there. And I want to see, actually, I know that the Tommy Paul match has come to an end with Lucas Klein. How did that end up? Tommy Paul 1-6-4 in the third. Okay. So there we go.
Yeah. We had, what other results have we had so far as well? So we've had Zaboch Wilch getting a good victory against Mazzetti.
Very good
Great
win,
set.
yeah. Very good win. Mario predicted that actually a couple of days ago. Said Wilt is winning that one. Yeah.
Okay.
Rublev, comfortable win, but you would expect it over Bagnis. There'll be tougher
Yeah.
assignments for him to come.
Yeah. And a good win for Sarundalo against Marashan as well.
Very good
6-2,
win, but good win
7-6.
for two reasons. One, because Sarundalo's year has been a bit up and down. He's had, some good performances. I remember an epic match he had against Ben Shelton, I think it was in Indian Wells, that was really fine, and that came at that Indian Wells tournament came at a good time for Sarundalo in that he'd been losing a lot of matches, and although he made the semi-final in Rio, but lost badly to Baez in an all-Argentina affair. So he sort of turned his year around a bit in Indian Wells. But the reason why this win today is particularly good is not just because of Marajan and we know what he's capable of, but also because Sarundalo was up 6-2 and a double break, twice failed to serve out the match. And so when Marajan then wins those games in a row from 5-2, but 5-2 down with a double break, Marajan then wins the next 4 games, and you're suddenly thinking, wow, from trying to serve it out twice, and at 5-6, I was thinking, this is a real challenge now for Sarundalo just to force the tiebreak. So to force the tiebreak and then still get over the line will be a big relief for the Argentinian 21 seed.
Absolutely. I didn't know that. By the way, so just to go back to Sabalenka, it's love 30 on Sabalenka's serve. So Linette is all over her at the moment.
Wow.
Just a lot of errors coming off Sabalenka's racket. And she looks kind of, she doesn't look too comfortable out there at the moment. And Linette just flashes another winner past her. So she's got 3 more break points for a double break. Wow. And this would be, by the way, I think the first. I looked at the head-to-head before, so they've played 3 times before. Closest Linette's got to taking a set. I do my research before, by the way, John. The closest Linette's got to taking a set was when she took her to a tie-break in the Australian Open semi-final last year. This would potentially be the first set Linette's taken against Sabalenka.
Okay, good research. And she's threatening a double break.
Yeah, one of them saved. Still 2 more to come. Well, second one saved with an ace down the middle.
Nice. So is that now juice?
30-40.
30-40. So okay, it was love 40. Okay.
Third break point. Yeah. Let's see what happens here. First serve in from Sabalenka. She puts away the 2+1, so it's juice. Serve plus 1.
Back to juice.
Back to juice. Yeah. Backhand winner from Sabalenka. Yeah.
Shang here serving.
Business end of that set as well, right, John? That you're watching?
Yeah, 5-6. Yeah. Davidovich Fokina. I know Jane is a big fan of the Spaniards. I'm a fan of his too. When he's fit and firing, he's a lot of fun to watch. See him sliding around the back of the court right now, staying in this point nicely. And the forehand now goes big but goes wide. So Shang is 3 points away from forcing a tiebreak.
Okay. Sabalenka's held, by the way, actually. So she won 5 points in a row there.
Okay.
Hold. So yeah, she really dug herself out of a hole. It's 4-2. And that's quite a psychological blow, I think, isn't it? For sort of when you're so close to getting
from love 40,
yeah. Yeah. It would have been 5-1.
Yeah.
What's that, Simon?
It's a boost as well for Sabalenka. She'll feel like, okay, I'm still very much in the second set, even if she's just one breakdown.
There's a big difference between 5-1 and 4-2. How did it go the other day? By the way, I saw you were playing your match against Boiler Boy again the other day.
Boiler Boy, yeah.
You
didn't see the outcome?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I'll share it on the screen, but it might take me about a minute to get to that stage. But yeah, here we go. My smile and his disheveled look tells you enough.
6-3, 6-3.
Yeah.
He was getting a bit closer, John, but have you just
Yeah, I've
got
eked
on?
away again. Yeah, he had a
Yeah.
couple of good results, I'd say, about 6, 8 months ago, where at the time it was like I had like a 50 match unbeaten streak going on, and dropping a few sets here and there, but generally winning in straight sets. But then he won, let's say he won maybe 2 out of 5 around sort of back end of last summer, maybe beginning of autumn. But no, I've arrested that, and now we're looking at about 98-3.
But it kind of sounds a bit like, John, kind of, I guess, when Rafa had his little slump maybe between sort of 2016 and 2018, and now you've kind of got
Yeah, it
over
happened. I mean, for me, it was just sort of 2 weeks, whereas Rafa, it was maybe 2 years. But yeah,
that. But you're just playing Boiler Boy, I guess, and he's playing some of the best players in the world.
yeah, slight difference. Yeah. I don't think
Um,
Boiler Boy, even he would admit, I don't think he falls into the upper echelons category. Oh, what's going on here? Davidovich Fokina at 30 all has had a stumble, but it seems quite. Has he got a big graze on his knee? Which, if it is just that, it'll be nothing more. But let's hope Shang is tending to him as well. Although he's thinking to himself, "Listen, Shang, I want to." Oh, I'm just looking at it. Ooh, has he twisted something? Maybe he's hobbling quite badly. He's got one white sock and one black sock. But that's an element that people won't care about right now. And the grimace on his face at 30 all here suggests we could be looking at something quite significant.
oh no,
Um,
this is Davidovich Fokina, John.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I should have probably specified. So
Well,
we're
that
at
would be
30 all. And in fact, Davidovich Fokina, of course, at 30 all is just 2 points away from taking the set. So the trainer or the physio is here to tend to the Spaniard, and he'll be hoping that this is not terminal. We
Fingers
always
crossed.
just try and interpret. I mean, I can see a mark and a graze from what I saw as well initially, where the clay is stuck to his knee. But actually, it was also a twist as well, which is, I think, the bigger issue. We always sort of try and interpret, and we're looking at facial expressions. And actually, I'm going to interpret a slightly more optimistic facial expression from Davidovich Fokina here, where he's just looking down at the physio, saying, "What are you going to do, mate?" Because we all know that Davidovich Fokina has an Aussie accent.
Yeah, you can never kind of tell. I guess there was in the Everton Liverpool game the other day. There was one of the Everton players, and Mikolenko, which sort of went down, and it looked horrendous. And the Sky Sports sort of refused to even show the replay because of how kind of bad it looked. And then he carried on playing. He was actually okay to carry on for a few more minutes. It wasn't quite as bad as what they thought.
Okay, so there is some attention going to the Greys as well. They're sort of, trying to clean up what looks like a stinging injury. But I thought I saw a twist as well that he seemed to be grimacing from. But I don't know. I've got some optimism that he's going to retake the court at the very least and see how the next 2 points go. Okay. He's probably thinking a couple of double faults from Shang will be quite useful right now.
Yeah. You can just regroup.
How's Sabalenka and Linette going? It was 4-2 last I heard.
It's 5-2, so Linette's held comfortably.
Okay.
Back on Sabalenka's serve. And Linette's been really, really solid on her serve this set. I think if she's lost a point, she's only lost 1 or 2.
Okay, that is solid, yeah. The height of technology here being used on Davidovich Fokina's knee. Basically, first of all, it was sort of clean it up, get all the clay out. Then it was sort of spray some sort of probably antiseptic thing to make it as clean as possible. Now, because they don't want it sort of to continue, he's sort of layering a layer of what looks like dirt, but not clay colored dirt, but an extra layer. I think he's just trying to seal up the wound. This is my D at GCSE biology really coming to the fore.
We need to get a kind of physio or doctor sort of on board with the show as well, don't we? So we can kind of bring them in a bit like kind of Howard Webb sort of brought in sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be useful. Yeah, we just call up a physio or a medical expert. Anyway, good news is that he has retaken the court, and he's just. I think he looks all right, and I would be surprised if anything more grave was to occur. But yeah, it'd be great if the closest we have is Well, I don't know if she's an expert, but she was giving us a lot of detail. Kira was a few weeks ago, I think, regarding Marta Kostyuk's toes. I'm going to suggest that were on show at one point during a match, I think, in Indian Wells. Davidovich Fokina puts a backhand into the net, so we've got a game point for Shang to force the tiebreak.
Come at really unfortunate timing, hasn't it, for Davidovich? But at least he's okay to continue at the moment.
I'm pretty sure. I think he's all right. He might just need a point or two to just get moving again and feel a bit more comfortable and kind of forget about what happened. But I mean, he still could force juice here.
Linette's serving for it now.
Oh, she's serving for at 5-3.
5-3. Yep.
Oh, Shang sprays that backhand wide.
Okay. Back at juicing. Really good return there from Sabalenka. She's finding the back of the court here in this first point on Linette's serve. And it's love 15. Really clean hitting, Sabalenka. How is Feast doing? Good question, Jane. Let's have a look. He lost the first set at 6-2, didn't he?
Yeah, he lost the first set at 6-2.
He's 3-all at the moment.
Yeah.
Got a break point after Feast.
And Shang has a game point to force the tiebreak.
Long extended rally here as well. Sabalenka's doing control of it. Okay. Sabalenka's turning the screw here. Love 30.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That is a definition of the turning the screw.
Yeah. And a sniff as well.
Well, 15, it's 15-30 a sniff.
It's love 30.
Yeah, I know exactly. So 15-30 is a sniff. Love 30 is turning the screw. Ooh. Yeah. So I'm just seeing a bit of fortune for Fokina with what was a fairly easy volley, but he actually clipped the net before going over, and he's got it back to juice. Right. Mida Andreeva won a point earlier. Mid-point, she got a net cord, and afterwards there was no such apology.
Wow, from her.
Yeah, I like the apology. I mean, I know it's a bit not sorry, but Davidovich Fokina is apologizing here.
It's kind of nice to see a bit of sportsmanship, I think, isn't it?
It's just like a recognition of, I was a bit lucky there. Davidovich Fokina puts the return long, so it's another game point for Shang. How is the screw turning going on with Sabalenka?
Well, it's maybe not it's 15-30 now, so yeah, it's loosened.
So,
it's loosened.
It's loosened, yeah.
Yeah. Linette just taking her time over this. She's got a second serve. Pretty good one. Sabalenka's really finding the back of the court at the moment, hitting the ball cleanly, especially on the backhand. Just as I say that, she hits a backhand just long, so it's 30-all.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we've either got a break point or a set point incoming.
Yes. Good
Meanwhile,
point.
I think there was a double bounce there. I thought there was a double bounce. And Shang is convinced there's a double bounce. I'm convinced there's a double bounce. Shang is getting a few boos here because, of course, he's not Spanish. But for me, this took a double bounce. Let me have a look. It was clearly a double bounce, but let's have a look. Yeah, that's a double bounce.
Wow.
And it was clear for me when it happened, it was a double bounce. Shang still should have won the point, but he didn't. So Davidovich Fokina wins the point. We're back at juice. If Davidovich Fokina wins this set.
So Davidovich didn't say it was a double bounce?
Regarding that debate, okay, first of all, I'm watching it in real time. I'm like, there's no way Davidovich Fokina is getting this. That is what I'm thinking. And he didn't get it. He didn't. And I could see he didn't. now you're coming to the second part of the argument. So Shang has been wronged, okay? But the second part of the argument is, I don't know. I know a lot of people say that when you're the player, you kind of do know. I don't know if you do always know if you've been the beneficiary of a double bounce. I don't know. I
Yeah,
would
I
suggest with this
agree.
particular one, having just seen it, I would suggest that that you do know that. I think he did know that he took a double bounce, but now we've got a line call, which looks like justifiably.
Oh, there's a lot of hashtag drama going on over there at the moment,
A
John.
lot of hashtag drama. By the way, Linette.
It's an advantage Linette at the moment. Sabalenka has had a break point, which she didn't take, and it's now a set point for Linette.
Okay.
So let's see how this goes. Yeah. Linette misses the first serve. Betting's currently suspended for all you gamblers out there.
And we
Second
now
serve
have a
into Sab-
set point for Davidovich Fokina.
Okay. They're just trading backhands from the back of the court at the moment. Who's going to take control here? Sabalenka's trying to up the power a bit. It's quite conservative. Big forehand though from Sabalenka. Sabalenka's turning the screw in the rally. Linette's just about hanging in there. Oh, and she's tried to turn the tables, Linette, and she has done, and she's won the set.
Wow. So one set
Yeah,
all.
one
Screws
set
being
all.
turned and tables too.
A lot of turning and twisting going on.
Twisting and turning. Well, here we have a set point for Davidovich Fokina. I almost just want him to win
Okay.
the set just to see how Shang reacts. I like Shang. I have nothing against it, but that double bounce. I mean, it was so clear for me. It was so clear. I
Yeah.
think because it was so clear, I think Davidovich Fokina probably did know.
Okay.
But I don't. Oh, wow. A close call, but I think it did go out. And Davidovich Fokina punches the air. And now we're going to
Oh,
get some more of this double bounce stuff.
what's so? Okay.
It did go out, yeah.
How's,
So that's a clear, correct decision. But it's all about the double bounce.
how's Shang reacting?
And Shang is, at least the cameras are not on him at the moment. They're just on Davidovich Fokina as he's looking for some towels and water. Oh, he's found a banana. That'll do. Shang is probably going off court, maybe. I know he's not. He's still on court, but Shang hit 4 winners in that set, by the way, which, bear in mind, is 7-5. Is not many. Davidovich Fokina hitting 15. But anyway, whatever the stats say, the most important one is that Davidovich Fokina has won the set 7-5. But that, I mean, the double bounce, I know I keep talking about it, but it was nuts. It was so clear.
Wow.
It was clear to me watching on my TV when it happened. I was when I watched the replay. Of course, I now know it took a double bounce, and yeah, I think probably Davidovich Fokina knows too. But there we go. It is what it is.
I mean, you said it straight away, didn't you, John? And you're sort of watching, kind of on a stream on a smaller screen, and you said it straight away. So
Oh, it's double
I think
bounce, but as soon as it happened,
Davidovich
yeah.
Fokina must have seen it.
I'm then doubting when I'm watching the replay, just because you never know, you might be wrong. And Davidovich
Yeah.
Fokina got closer to it than I thought, but it's
Okay.
basically sandwiched between his racket and the ground. The ball is sandwiched, and you can
Right.
just see it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess Davidovich Fokina, lucky this is in Madrid, right? If it was
Well,
somewhere
exactly, yeah.
even if it was somewhere else, kind of a bit more neutral, the crowd might be sort of getting on Davidovich's back a bit potentially in
Let's
that
see
kind of
how
situation.
Twitter will be blowing up, I would imagine, about this.
I could just see Davidovich punching the air on Twitter.
Yeah, you've seen that, have you? I've shown it again, I mean. I mean, it bounces. It doesn't. It's not even sandwiched. It bounces and bounces back up.
Wow.
I mean, I saw it in real time, and I just couldn't believe that Shang was having to react the way he did. He's got two fingers in the air, two fingers in the air in every sense of the meaning, I think. I mean, it actually bounces.
Gosh. And Davidovich seems to be moving okay as well now.
Yeah.
We've forgotten about that.
He's got a new lease of life now.
Drama over on the Rancher Sanchez. High drama. By the way, Artifice looks like he's heading out at the moment. He's out Myers serving for the second set. Sabalenka serving first.
One side issue is, having had the double bounce, I still don't know how Shang misses the next forehand unless he's just totally flustered by it. But even being totally flustered, he had almost an empty court with which to put it in and somehow put it a meter wide. So that's weird in itself. But yeah, he won the point.
It seems like he's kind of taken it. He hasn't really remonstrated that much about the double bounce.
No, I mean, at the time he sort of did, but he did sort of fist pump the umpire. But maybe his because of his youthfulness and the fact he's in Madrid, maybe means he's holding back a bit. Maybe he'd be different under different circumstances.
And I guess maybe he's just not 100% sure potentially as well, because maybe he hasn't seen a replay and stuff like that. By the way, more drama over here as well. First game on Sabalenka's serve, and Linette's got a set point. Sorry, a break point to go up a break in the third set. Big point here right at the start. Linette punching the air. What's going to happen? Sabalenka's making a lot of errors at the moment. If she doesn't there, it's juice.
I'm guessing Artifice has lost from a comment I see in the live chat.
Yeah, he was out Myers 1 6-2, 6-3.
Very comfortable for the German.
Agree, Ghosty. Disappointing display from Feast. It was kind of Tommy Paul to give Klein a set, Ghosty says. Linette's playing really well as well. Oh, amazing. Another break point for the pole.
Yeah, that's
taken by the way,
Linette. 32, okay.
Yeah.
Looking for a husband as well. She said she's
looking for a husband.
Yeah. She sort of joked about it recently. Davidovich Fokina holds for one love. There was almost a replication of the double bounce point, in that Davidovich Fokina had to just chase down a drop shot, but this time he did so successfully. Yeah. Ghosty there, yeah. Yeah, indeed. He gave I think Klein won the first set 7-6, but then Tommy ran away with it. But there was some funny commentary. I didn't realize it at the time, but apparently Damien was like saying that Klein was allergic to break points.
That's a good one. Sabalenka now have advantage, so I feel like if she can come through this game, that would be quite significant, a big sort of boost for her. Yeah, just to get her nose in front. Yeah, not good to be allergic to break points, I don't think, as a tennis player.
No. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was allergic to grass. I mean, it must have been a very mild allergy. Must have been super mild. It's like when they said that Tim Howard had Tourette's or something, and everyone was thinking, oh, this is going to be fun. But it must have been super mild, because there were never any major outbursts from him.
I forgot about that. Yeah. That did remind me because everyone thought it was going to be fun and games, but yeah, I think
Yeah.
he sort of noticed a slight sort of like twitch maybe with his eye every now
Yeah,
and again.
Twitch maybe, but it was never any yeah, major
Swearing.
out.
No.
Do you remember when Barack Obama like went nuts about Tim Howard after the match against Belgium? I think it was in the World Cup a few years ago when he was just saving shots left, right, and center. I think the US still lost,
No.
but I think Barack Obama congratulated Tim Howard on his performance.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Didn't see that.
I think
Did you
Belgium
see
won in
by the
extra time that match, but he did save like 30 shots on target. That's a horrible drop shot from Shang. Love
oh,
30.
did,
It,
did you see by the way that Anne Hathaway is an Arsenal fan? She was talking about Arsenal the other day, getting quite animated.
Anne Hathaway. The first Anne I
Yeah.
thought of was actually Anne Coddington. I was getting them muddled up in my head.
I'm not
But
sure who
anyway,
she
Anne
was.
Hathaway. Oh, really? She's an Arsenal fan.
Yeah, she was doing an interview with a new
They're all
film, and
coming out the closet now after 20 years in the wilderness.
she had to pause the interview just because Arsenal had scored, and she was getting excited.
I mean, it would be funny. I was just thinking if Shang had it, for example, and he just went nuts at the umpire.
Yeah. That would be great. We need to be a bit more inclusive, I think, for stuff like that.
Love 40. Shang looks like
Love
he's appealing,
40.
but yeah, I love 40. I mean, it does look like Shang is maybe having one or two movement issues as well. I can see he's got some strapping on his right thigh, and he's just stretching that right now.
Okay.
I think he challenged a particular call, and it was actually about 50 centimeters out. So there's no debate on that one. So love 43 break points here for Davidovich Fokina. Did Sabalenka hold, by the way?
Yes, she has done.
I think you did
Yeah.
tell me that. Yes, sorry. So many things going on at once.
I know. Yeah, it's
Yesterday, Jamie, we had a bit of a first on Talking Tennis. We did the same match commentary in two different languages.
I did see that on come up on Twitter. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, we
How
did
did
the we
that?
did the
How did that
Nadal
go?
match. Yeah, it was
Oh.
fine. Maybe it helped because it was an hour match rather than a 3-hour epic. But yeah, yeah.
You were doing I did see a comment
Me and another
saying
guy.
about
Yeah,
your.
I wouldn't do it on my own, I don't think. But yeah, me and
Okay.
Bruno did the Spanish one, and oh, Shang, just putting that
Oh,
forehand wide.
break is it?
I think he might have called for the trainer as well, because he puts that. Yeah, it's a break, so it's 2-love. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that the next change of ends will have a trainer come on for Shang.
Okay.
Second time the trainer has appeared, but the first time for Davidovich Fokina, who looks like he's fine now. Second time will probably be for Shang at the next change of ends.
Yeah, nothing like a double bounce, I guess, going in your way to sort of get you, yeah,
Yeah, get you
get you
over an
sort of
injury.
moving
Yeah,
after an injury scare.
yeah.
Ugh.
That maybe that should be the remedy. Yeah, it should be the remedy for all ills. A double bounce going your way. See you, Ghosty.
Cheers,
Thanks for
guys.
stopping by.
Cheers, Ghosty. Take care. He just said, "You want all the Americans to field an all paranoid, schizophrenic Davis Cup team." I think that's a bit different from kind of
God, there's
Tourette's,
access
isn't
to
it,
guns,
Ghosty?
Yeah. Okay, so love 15
Ugh.
at least on the Davidovich Fokina serve here. Go on. Anything happening?
It's 30 all on the net serve. So I would sort of say we got a bit of a sniff here for Sabalenka. As she goes along, so it's 40-30. By the way, it's quite fun doing this sort of multi game, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, so I think there's some possibilities. I mean, that was one of the oh, I think that did go long. Love 30 here on the Davidovich Fokina serve.
Ooh.
Yeah, we did it during the Australian Open as well, not this year, but the year before. And we'll do it
Yes,
occasionally, just
I remember.
whenever the sort of moment suits. If
Yeah.
there's a lot of availability,
Yeah.
from people, and also if it's the early round or early rounds of a tournament, then it works well. Love 40 now on the Davidovich Fokina serve. Shang has barely had
Wow.
to move actually in this particular game, which is quite helpful for him.
It's just been errors from Davidovich, has it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's been errors from Davidovich Fokina rather than Shang having to do a lot.
By the way, John, I've probably asked you this, but are you planning on coming over to the UK for Wimbledon?
Maybe, not sure yet. Maybe
Okay.
a bit like if I do, it'll be a bit like last year. You know, first week, do a bit of queuing
Yeah.
and see how that goes. 15-40 because Davidovich Fokina had an unreturned serve. Goes down the tee on this one, but I think it's clipped the net, so it's going to be another first serve for him. But 2 break points here still for Shang.
It's juice on the Linette serve.
Okay.
But Sabalenka's just put a forehand wide, so it's I mean Sabalenka's playing a usual kind of um, you know
Aggressive style of play.
aggressive game, but she just needs to kind of I think yeah, she's just making a few too many errors really.
Yep. 30-40 here, so 2 break points saved. 1 more to go for Davidovich Fokina to save.
Might have might have a look at the unforced error count actually on the stats.
Yeah, do that. Forehand
That's the
Davidovich
only thing on
Fokina.
the Google.
The Google what?
Google Stats doesn't show unforced errors, I think, or winners, does it?
Just a second. I can tell you that Shang has got a break of serve after a forehand sprayed wide from Davidovich Fokina. I thought it did, but it might not.
Wow. Okay. So
No, I
Shang's
think you're
broken
right.
even though he's
No, I'm looking at it now. It doesn't
yeah.
know.
No. Shang's broken even though he's struggling a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And the trainer is now coming on to tend to either the groin or the hip area, although actually it's on the opposite leg, I think, to where the strapping that I mentioned is on the left leg as opposed to the right. I think they might go off court.
Okay. Linette holds, by the way. That's a big hold for her as well. It's 1-1.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's 1 set or 1 game, all right?
Yes, exactly. Nothing to split them.
Okay, so we've got Shang lying prostate now on the ground. They're actually not going to go off court, but he's going to get some attention for the leg issue. But it is on the opposite leg to where he's got the strapping. But it does seem to have compromised him in the last few games, albeit that he has actually managed to break the Davidovich Fokina serve. But as I say, I think it was more carelessness from the Spaniard than anything spectacular from Shang. He's grimacing a bit during this treatment.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can get.
When the other guy's struggling.
Yeah, you can get distracted perhaps mentally. You might start taking different shots. Normally you'd be sort of just playing the ball in and seeing what happens. And then the other player who is injured just sort of hits more freely. But on this occasion, it wasn't exactly free hitting from Shang that earned the break. It was wild shots from Davidovich Fokina on occasion. So they are on serve, 1-2 Shang serving. But Linette, a big hold there, making it 1 game more, right?
Yes, 1 game more with Sabalenka's just about to make it 2 games to 1.
Kazakina is staring down the barrel, the number 10 seed. Buxo is serving for the match against her. Having won the first set 7-5, it's now 5-3 to the Spaniard. And Kalinina and Dolehide are heading into a tiebreak. I think Kalinina got to the final in Rome last year, so plenty of points for her to defend in the upcoming weeks. Yeah, if I do Wimbledon, it's still a maybe at the moment. 50-50, I would say it'll be first week.
Okay. Yeah. Probably same. I'll probably queue one of the first or second day, I think.
Yeah, indeed. Just seeing a comment from Jane regarding Damien's brain for stat search. Yeah, he's much quicker than I am, that's for sure. Sabalenka, that's a quick hold.
Yes, very quick. Yeah. Pressure right back on Linette. What do you think the odds are now, John, in terms of winning the match?
So I will first of all put it into percentages, and I would say 65-35 in favor of Arena. That hold, by the way, can help in a way. It might even be 70-30, but what would that be? Let's go for Arena Sabalenka 1-2.
Yep, she's 3 to 10.
3
So
to 10. So it's
quite,
actually a bit more
yeah,
favourable than 1 to 2, actually.
yeah, yeah. Linette 5 to
And
2.
therefore,
So
Linette is
that
about 3 to 1.
5 to 2. Yeah.
5 to 2, yeah,
Two and
similar.
a half. 2.5 to 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think in other
No.
countries, and I don't really understand it, but they sort of use points and like 1.25 or yeah, I don't quite understand it because we've
Right.
obviously grown up on the UK system of odds like you suggested.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah.
I wonder whether as well now whether these kind of odds are kind of like they might be AI generated now as well. They might be being done by AI maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, but the only thing I would say is that it will be affected if somebody walks into the bookmakers and puts 10,000 euros on Sabalenka to win right now, you know?
Right. Yeah. 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 True. Like they're doing that. Have you seen the Premier League percentage like chances they've been doing this season in terms of like Opta are doing it the chances of like winning the title in percentages.
Oh, right. No,
They're
but that
trying
sounds
to do
like
that.
the pre-match tennis thing, right? When you should see
Yes,
percentage.
it is the
Yeah,
same kind of thing.
yeah.
Yeah. Lovely chip and charge there from sort of charge to the net anyway from Sabalenka. Not so much a chip driver and charge more.
Uh-huh.
So she's
What's the score?
love 15. Love 15
Okay.
on Linette's serve.
Mhm. So Shang has retaken the court and he's just mishit a forehand quite badly. And it's love 30 on his serve.
Okay. 15 all here.
So these two matches, in many ways, are at a similar juncture in that we've got 1-2 and 2 points having been played on serve in what could be the final set of each match. It'll definitely be the final set in your match, but of course, this one is just one set to love.
Yeah, yeah. I get the feeling this set might finish before, although I guess you've had a couple of medical timeouts over there as well, haven't you?
Yeah. Oh, lovely volley from Shang at the net. Clenched fist suggests he still believes. 15-30.
He still believes.
We'll see if that occurs this summer.
Yeah. Looking forward to that. Sabalenka draws Linette into the net, but Linette closes well. It's 30-15. Impressive showing. Linette's played well. Yeah.
Yeah,
Despite
I mean, when she
her,
lost the first set, you're thinking, okay, when the favorite wins the first set, reigning champion,
yeah,
etc.
yeah, yeah.
Shang gets it to 30 all.
Oh, 40-15 now here. Mistake from Sabalenka. Is anyone covering Rome next week in person? Any press passes for Rome
No,
next
no,
week?
we tried. We did try for Mario, but that's the second year in a row. I mean, I didn't have a huge amount of optimism because they said no last year.
Right.
The next step, really, for us, I think, may well be our website. We need to sort of start tending to that a little bit more. I have some things lined up. Let's say, oh, my doorbell inexplicably ringing.
Oh.
These are the things that happen on live. I was going to say live TV, live broadcast. I think it's probably the better
Yeah,
terminology.
yeah. We can hear the exchange hopefully as well at the
Hello.
door.
Okay. Shang has a game point for 40-30.
Okay. Wasn't like law enforcement or anything like that, John. Bailiffs.
No. The problem is I live in the same building as, I think, at least one doctor. I think a dentist
Right.
as well. So actually, during the daytime, the door downstairs is actually open. You just need to push it. But
Yeah.
people ring the wrong doorbell. That's the second time it's happened today. They ring the wrong doorbell, and Oh, a lovely backhand return there from Davidovich Fokina, saw it juice. And so basically just said, oh, we've got an appointment for, I don't know, 2:30 or whatever. So I just said, yeah, okay, and opened the door.
Is that the same place that you've lived in since you've lived in Bonn, or have you moved?
No, I've moved twice. Moved twice in
Okay.
the 4 years I've been here. Almost 5. Yeah. I've been in this apartment for 2 years.
Okay. Oh yeah, because you kitted it out of a nice big TV, didn't you? And
Yeah,
bought
exactly. The
subscription
big
and
TV I'm
stuff.
watching
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now. The only thing is that I'm watching via a stream that is always a couple of points behind sort of the reality, and normally a point and a half behind lots of you
Okay.
guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Shang sprays that ball, so we've got a break point for Davidovich Fokina to take a 3-1 lead. I see
Nice.
Linette held serve 2-all.
She has done. Yeah, yeah. I just lost track of it actually on the on what Sabalenka's at. So it's 15-all on
Okay.
Sabalenka's serve. So yeah, it's quite nip and tuck. By the way, the odds have really kind of come in a bit. So it's Sabalenka's 4-6 and Linette 6-5. Quite close. Linette flashes a winner past Sabalenka, so she's up 15-30. By the way, joining Bet365 now, you're going to get me gambling on some of these matches. I remember when I was a bit younger, I used to do a few tennis accumulators. When I
Davidovich
was about
Fokina has
7, 6.
broken, so now leads 7-5, 3-1. Yeah,
Okay.
when I was taxi driving 15 years ago, just sort of before we met, really, I would
Yeah.
occasionally go in the bookmakers on a Saturday and put a few like £1 bets on or something like that in the walk-in bookmakers. But I don't think I've probably bet since then. That was probably 15, 16 years ago.
Okay. Okay. You don't ever do any online accumulators at all, don't you?
Nah, just doesn't cross my thought really.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Maybe
what's
if I was
happening here?
convinced about something and saw something, but no.
Yeah. Can be a slippery slope, I guess, as well.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
um, but yeah, I used to sort of when I was sort of 16, 17, I did a couple of tennis accumulators and sort of think that yeah, I used to have it in my head that kind of the people that are making the sort of betting odds are kind of, you know, how in the UK people don't really pay attention to tennis outside of Wimbledon. So I used to think, oh, they probably don't actually know that much about tennis. They probably only really watch Wimbledon. But of course, if they're making the odds and they're working for bookmakers, I'm sure they know a lot about tennis.
Uh-huh.
As Sabalenka holds, it's 3-2 now.
Okay. And we're 15-all here on the Davidovich Fokina serve. So you're heading towards obviously it's still a bit of tennis to be played yet, but right now you are heading towards a third set tie break.
Yeah, yeah, at the moment, yeah. Shapovalov playing Echeverry at the moment, 4-all in the first set.
Okay.
Shapovalov started to show a little bit more promise, hasn't he? I guess over the last few weeks, a few decent results.
Yeah. Clay is not really his thing, but
Yeah.
so it's a bit like Osaka, really, in that both players sort of just easing their way back into the tour, some encouraging results and performances, but with 1 or 2 losses as well. And then unfortunately they run out of runway, and that now we're on the clay court and they might have to wait a few weeks. So maybe even Osaka's case a bit longer, because
Yeah.
Shapovalov can be very handy on the grass, but Osaka's yet to really yield any great
Yeah.
results on that surface.
I was thinking that. Yeah. So Osaka might have to wait till the hard courts. Shapovalov, of course, we watched him play a Wimbledon semi-final, didn't we? Not live, but in Victoria on the big screen against Djokovic a few years ago.
Yeah, semi-final. Yeah, I think that was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think the
He had some
first set was
chances. Well, he
super
played
tight.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah. He played well.
yeah. Backhand return goes long from Shang, and we've got a game point for Davidovich Fokina to take a 4-1, sorry, lead.
Okay. So Davidovich is taking control.
Yeah. But everything will be about the double bounce, which I put
Yeah.
into a tweet just now as well.
Oh. So if you're out there sort of on site, you're kind of hoping to speak to both players, I guess, about it.
Yeah, probably getting to Davidovich Fokina will be hard. In fact, getting to Shang will be hard as well because he will probably lost. So normally you just get a chance to speak to the winner. But speaking to Davidovich Fokina in a 1-to-1 will be tricky because all the Spanish journalists would want to speak to him. Anyway, he does indeed take a 4-1 lead. Somebody asking earlier about our next tournament, as in talking tennis, might be Strasbourg, which is a week before the French Open, WTA 500, just on the eve of that tournament.
By the way, they're moving Hamburg to just before
Next year, yeah.
the French Open. It's a good move for you, I guess, because might be able
Yeah,
to get
I
some
mean,
fun
it
stuff.
comes at the moment in that sort of weird second part of this sort of bonus clay court season that we get after Wimbledon, where
Yeah.
sort of nobody's really watching or paying attention because everyone's like thinking towards the North American hard court swing. This year, though, I think it will be propelled. This particular spell in the season will be added a bit more importance because people will be using some of these tournaments for the Olympics sort of build up. I saw Yannick Sinner had signed up for, I think, an event in Sweden, a 250, which it might not necessarily play if it wasn't for the Olympics. So we might see a few more big names playing these tournaments, including Hamburg this year. But yeah, next year Hamburg is moving to the sort of the official clay court swing.
Yeah.
But that's part of the squeeze that's being put on Estoril, which is a real pity because that's an event I'm desperate to keep on the calendar. It may still find a space on the calendar, but at the moment, it doesn't have an official spot.
Okay. Is there a chance that might be downgraded to a challenger?
Exactly. There's a chance that it'll just get squeezed off, and then they'll just have to find an event there, I guess. But it's not guaranteed at the moment. When I was there was a lot of hope amongst the officials that they were going to stay on the calendar, but maybe not in the slot that they're in right now. Anyway, 4-1, love 15. So Shang 1-4 here is really in a spot of bother. What about Linette serving at 2-3 against Sabalenka?
Yeah, it's currently 30 all, 40-30 now
Okay.
for Linette.
Ah,
Sabalenka has had she had a great chance at 15-30 to get to 2 break points, but fluffed the backhand. It's been that kind of match for her, really. She's just shown glimpses, but there have just been far too many errors. I'm just seeing the unforced error count actually now. 43 unforced errors from Sabalenka.
ooh, that is a lot.
Yeah.
43, even by Sabalenka standards.
Yeah. Only in 39 winners, so more unforced errors than winners.
Oh, underarm serve from Shang. And he wins the point, but not because of the underarm serve, because actually Fokina chased it down pretty well. But Shang managed to trace down the next shot from Fokina really well, especially considering he's a little bit hampered at the moment, and pulled off a sensational winner. The underarm serve was just terrible. I mean, it landed near the service line, which is not the idea with a. He's struggling to get it, but he gets his racket on it, and passes to Fokina really nicely. But anyway, wins the point. That's the most important thing. 15-30.
You've had a bit of everything over there, it seems.
Yeah, a
You ever
little
throw
bit.
one
Yeah.
of those in when you're playing on? Do you ever throw an underarm serve in?
Well, I don't mind telling you because I don't see you as a threat really, but yeah, occasionally. Yeah. No, but the reason, to be honest with you, they're quite useful in a few different circumstances. First of all, if you don't have necessarily a great serve in itself, like, I mean, if you're a big server, he's just done another underarm serve and he's won the point again, 30-40.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it can help in those circumstances, but But the problem that most amateurs will have is that the returner will not be that deep. Oh, he's just joked that he was going to do it again, but he didn't. Yeah, it's that you need a deep return position, really. You need a guy returning your serve a meter or two at least behind the baseline. But most
Yeah.
of us never have an opponent doing that because none of us really have, 100-mile-an-hour plus serves. So it's something I use, but more maybe I used it the other day and it worked with. That was a lovely forehand winner from Shang. I used it the other day to great effect, not to win the point outright, but I managed to put enough spin on it and placement that it pushed my opponent so far out wide that he needed to either produce a winner or leave me with an open court, which he left with the open court. So yeah, that
Very
was against
nice.
Boiler Boy a couple of days ago.
It does sound like your game has come on quite a bit then since Wimbledon a few years ago.
Oh, you heard that from that analysis there. I see Linette's held, by the way.
She has, and she's putting some pressure on Sabalenka. It's 30 all. She was up 15-30.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
The Net's
30
playing a
all.
really good, solid game. But the match is on Sabalenka's racket, as you would expect, really. But
Yeah. Oh, look at you. The match is on her racket. So you've been studying tennis too.
I've been listening to you guys, John.
Well, there you go, Jamie. Yeah. This is where people come for their tennis knowledge.
Oh, Sabalenka nets a forehand. So it's a break point for Linette.
Wow.
Sean Powers just put a funny comment up.
Yeah, I have. I've just seen it. I don't know these comments, Sean. Sorry. Is it the Kostyuk one where she sort of mentions Zheng in the press conference that we touched on earlier? Is that the video? Probably. There's 2 or 3 Kostyuk press conference videos out there. So, but I'm guessing it's the one after the final. But I'll have to check out these comments. So we've got a break point for Linette.
Sabalenka holds.
Oh, okay. Well, that was a quick
Yeah.
turnaround because I thought it was 30-40.
Yeah. No, sorry. Sabalenka wins the point. Sorry. Juice.
Oh, okay. She saves it.
She hasn't held. She won that point. But yeah, Linette's still got a chance of breaking. Deep serve there by Sabalenka. Big forehand. Backhand winner from Sabalenka. Advantage to her. Yeah, so Kostyuk still only seeded 25 here. So I guess would that have been? Would she have? Is that kind of not taken into account her points from last week?
Say again. Sorry, Kostyuk's what?
Kostyuk
Seeded 25. Yeah, the
25.
seeding's probably yeah.
Might have done just before. Sabalenka's held, by the way.
Okay, that's a big hold for
Yeah.
4-3. And Davidovich Fokina has got 3 game points for a 5-2 lead within touching distance of the next round.
Yours looks like it'll be finished before mine.
Yeah. I'm getting quite hungry as well here because I haven't had lunch yet and it's 2:45.
Yes, 2:45. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right about those points because she's ranked 21. Davidovich Fokina holds and leads 5-2. So Shang will serve to stay in the match at 2-5. But yeah, that's a big hold for Sabalenka, bearing in mind it was sort of 30 all and she had a break point to save as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. Was a big hold. Yeah, if she could just be cut out the errors a bit, then she can certainly go through. But Magdalenette's she's keeping her honest. She's just kind of keeping the ball in play, and she's playing a good match as well. Want to see who they would play the winner of this match. Of course, Linette's on a bit of a winning streak, isn't she? Actually, I guess she's taking that confidence from that little run that she's had into this as well. 6 or 7 wins in a row. on the clay. Winner of this match will play against Katie Bolter or Montgomery, which looks like another IMG wildcard potentially. Robin Montgomery from the States.
Okay. I mean, if he's a
Um,
wild card, he's IMG because every single one is IMG.
okay. Well, saying that, Montgomery did beat another friend of the show, Avanesian, in the first round, 6-2,
Oh,
6-2.
yeah, close friend. I mean, not quite Paolini levels, but yeah. Yeah, Avanesian, yeah. She's she this is her preferred surface, despite her having some good results on grass in Berlin last year when we met. But yeah, that's a disappointing loss for her.
Yeah. Grab some water.
Yeah, sure. Just here showing some stats regarding Rebecca and regarding her recovery from losing early in Australia, where she lost to Blinkova, I think, in that dramatic third set tiebreak. She's lost twice since. One of those was against Igor in a final, in a 1,000 final, I think, in Doha. The other defeat probably would have been Daniel Collins in the final in Miami. So two very, very respectable losses against Daniel Collins, who's obviously been on fire recently, and Iga Swiatek, the world number one. And she had a win over Iga, of course, recently in the semi-final in Stuttgart. Shang here serving to stay in the match at 30 love. Clenched fist despite his compromised movement. For those of you just tuning in, please do hit the like button and hit subscribe on YouTube as we crawl towards 8,000. I thought we would have made it like probably yesterday or even the day before, but we were racking up the subscribers during Stuttgart, and even the early part of Madrid, we were still adding quite a few. Oh, there's another drop, another what do you call it? An underarm serve, but this time Shang doesn't win the point. Davidovich Fokina makes him pay, and it's 30-15.
Is he throwing those in because of any physical reasons, John? Or?
Yes, now given that they weren't there at all, I am wondering if that's the case. But it doesn't guarantee you that you're going to have a lot of less running to do, because on one of them he did really have to chase down the next shot from Davidovich Fokina. But the points tend to be short, I guess, and he doesn't have a big serve anyway.
Right.
But the points do tend to be short when you do that. You might have to chase something down, but anyway, Davidovich Fokina goes long, so it's 40-15. So two game points now for Shang.
30 all
serving,
over here, John.
30,
So it's
30,
Sabalenka.
30 all. Okay.
Yeah, Sabalenka putting a bit of pressure on Linette's serve. Although you mentioned Collins, she's back in action tonight as well after her hasn't played since Charleston. It looks like on here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. She didn't. She was down to play Stuttgart, where she would have been actually a qualifier in Stuttgart, but unsurprisingly opted not to play that in the end. You know, if she'd have had, again, these sort of seedings are decided. Shang has held his seedings are sort of decided a few weeks before, so with a meteoric rise, it didn't quite come in time for her to get an automatic qualification spot for Stuttgart.
Yeah, it's break point, by the way, here, John, for Sabalenka.
Ooh.
Break point to serve for the match potentially here. She's on top in the rally. Oh, she's got a bit of a net cord. Linette's. Oh, very lucky. Sabalenka breaks on with a net cord.
Oh, did she apologize?
I think she apologized. Let's have a look here. I think she did. Second time she's won quite a big point of a net cord. She got one in the first set as well. And I mean, it was a nothing forehand, really. And Linette's thrown her racket to the ground in frustration. Sabalenka apologized. Dear. Yeah, Sabalenka did apologize. But that apology is not going to be much consolation for Linette. Sabalenka's serving for the match now.
Well, we were not sure which match was going to finish first. Davidovich Fokina is now serving for the match, and he's won the first point as well, so he's got a 15-love advantage. But yes, both of these matches will come to possibly a swift conclusion in the next couple of minutes or so, because no change of ends, of course. So Sabalenka now serving for the match, Davidovich Fokina serving for the match. We're basically 1 point ahead of you with Davidovich Fokina up 15 love, but an ace there, is it? I think it's going to be a challenge potentially. So we'll see how this works out.
Oh, 15 love.
15 love for you as well. And we are 30 love because it just clipped the line.
Okay. Might be in a good timing for our stomachs as well for some lunch.
Yeah, I'm pretty hungry. I'm going to have a spinach and goat cheese. So it'll be a quickly made lunch. Spinach and goat cheese wrap. I'm going to make it myself.
Oh, I think goat's cheese might be my favorite cheese. It's very nice.
Oh, yeah. I like plenty of different styles. I like buffalo, mozzarella, cottage cheese can be nice because I don't have it very often. Red Leicester, boring cheddar. Don't mind a bit spicing it up. There was a Mexican cheese I had a few times with a bit of spice in it too.
Very nice.
Blue cheeses I tend to sort of just have in sauce form.
Blue cheese is a bit.
Like I would never eat a piece. It's an acquired taste, but I don't mind if it was like in a cheeseburger or in a soup maybe. I see you got 30 love here for Sabalenka. We've got 40-15. Davidovich Fokina here with 2 match points. He had one already, didn't take advantage of it. Decent return from Shang. Good depth there though from Davidovich Fokina. Clips the net, lands back on the side of Shang, and Davidovich Fokina wins 7-5, 6-3. Barely tells the story. Wonder what this exchange is going to be like at the net, bearing in mind there was the double bounce. It's friendly enough. Some taps and everything is fine between the two players. But yeah, Shang's movement compromised. Maybe he will argue that actually had a bigger bearing on the result than the double bounce did. But either way, both will be grabbing the headlines and probably the double bounce even more. Davidovich Fokina, the beneficiary of that. It's such a crucial point towards the end of that first set. In the last couple of points of it, actually, and Davidovich Fokina took that 7-5. Sabalenka Linette.
Sabalenka's had a match point, lost it, but she's still got 2 more to come. So she was up 40 love, and it's now 40-15. Surprisingly, there's not been many breaks of serve in this. It's only been the 3.
Okay.
My match has just switched over for some reason. I don't know what's happened there.
Oh dear. Maybe they know that. Maybe they know the match is finished.
Maybe they know it's finished. I don't know how I get it back.
Don't worry. So I can see that we've got one match point has gone a begging, as you said, for Sabalenka. I might be able to very quickly change over, but my stream will be a few seconds behind for sure. In fact,
I think it might do this
now.
as the match finishes, John.
Yeah, I've got mine. I've got the stream up, but I've got 40 love for Sabalenka. So I'm going to tell the audience how she lost that first match point. It's a forehand that has just crept over the net, but it's a winner from Linette down the line to past a wrong-footed Sabalenka. So she's going to try and do it the second time of asking, and I can already tell the audience that Sabalenka has indeed got over the line. 6-4, 3-6, 6-3. But as you said, it is a very, very tight match with just 3 breaks of serve throughout. So many unforced errors from Sabalenka. Forced her into this third set, but ultimately she gets over the line, and I'm going to tell you exactly how she did it with an ace down the tee. Screams as a result of winning that match, which will be in relief as much as exultation. Friendly handshake at the net. That was close, but no cigar for Linette. I don't know if she's a cigar smoker. Probably not.
She might be.
Potential husbands out there. Yeah, I was going to say, potential husbands out there rushing to the shops to buy a bunch of cigars on the back of what I've just said. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, Sabalenka's over the line.
Net cord, but that net cord was vital actually to get Sabalenka that break, because it really could have gone either way, I think.
Right. Yeah. So a bit lucky today, Sabalenka, but she's over the line. The last year's champion. I was going to say safely through, but more through to the next round after 2 hours and 10 minutes. She goes through. I'm not sure who she's playing next, but that was a tough.
Katie Bolter or Montgomery.
Okay. Bolter or Montgomery in the next round for her. So probably maybe a more manageable affair, because Bolter on the clay for me leaves a lot to be desired. But but of course it might end up being Montgomery who she ends up playing. Jamie, big thanks for joining me today for this stream. We sort of did 2 matches at once. Davidovich Fokina prevailing in straight sets over Shang. But of course, a lot of people will be talking about that double bounce that I was quite keen to talk about for a while. Sabalenka's now giving her on-court speech. But yeah, thanks, Jamie, and we'll catch up soon.
Thank you. My pleasure. See you soon.
Cheers, Jamie. Bye-bye. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
Up and downs, but I'm happy that I was able to close this match and yeah, had to get through to another one.
So thank you so much and congratulations for this victory.
Thank you guys.